I'm very excited about it. Up first is going to be Transcend. It looks like they have the first ban pick, and they're going to ban out Morigesh, which is a great choice, incredibly strong hero. I mean, get rid of her. Does this mean we see a Decker or FaZe ban right off the bat? And it's not. Wow. We see Revenant ban Shane right off the bat, which means Decker and FaZe are available.
The two face roll heroes have been taken off of the field. Not surprised by that. Just extraordinarily strong for their given strengths. Revenant, obviously, his early game Obliterate is able to just chunk people's health down, and any offlaners never wants to deal with that. And Morigesh is just known as that very strong mid laner. Also can be running the off lane as well, but predominantly, from what we have seen of her, has been running the mid lane. And no surprise, FaZe is going to be that very first pick. FaZe and Decker, a lot of teams still put priority onto Decker over FaZe, Notch. And I think that simply just comes down to play style. Team Finesse and other high-level teams, honestly, you're probably going to be happy with both. But Transcend this time around put a little more priority over the utilitarian queen that is FaZe.
Team Finesse is going to pick up Twin Blast and Grux. They pick up one of the best carries in the game, and then also go for that jungler pickup. They know they don't have to pick a support because Transcend has already done that, so they take their jungler and carry right off the bat. So Shane, because jungler and carry is picked up, do you think we're going to see Transcend pick up offlaner and mid laner, try and take away a gadget or howitzer pick?
They're going to pick up their jungler here. I was going to say Bellica was probably, for mid laners, Bellica is the most highly contested one after Morigesh. Yeah. After Bellica, it sort of falls down to Gadget and Howitzer. But for the past month or so, maybe even greater than that, since Morigesh's release, those have always been the go-to mid laners. So I like what Transcend did there. I think they could have waited for their jungler. Team Finesse already has shown their jungler. They probably could have waited a little bit. But there's always the potential. This is run quite often in the EU scene, and maybe Transcend is taking a note from that offlane Sevarog. I doubt that's the case. Could be the potential. We'll have to see as the draft develops.
Team Finesse is going to pick up their support. They're, of course, going to pick Decker. A lot of people I've talked to still say Decker is the queen of supports, purely based off of her kit. That stun, the containment fence, and everything you can do with containment fence. It can be used as a great engage. It can be used as a disengage to save your team if they need to escape. A lot of versatility in her kit. So they pick up really, really good support. And Shane, Fang Mao coming out. Fang Mao coming out. That's Feng Mao. I'm sorry, that's right. Zekimus Prime told us Feng Mao.
Yes.
So he's going to be offlane pick, which is a really damn good offlane pick.
Ever since he had that additional damage boost on his Reaping Dash, Feng Mao is I think just one of the best overall well-rounded offlaners. He has great survivability with his conversion shield, as well as just the way he scales. He has 1v2 potential and just great 1v1 potential. He can split push and clear waves very well. He's just overall, I think, one of the most well-rounded heroes in the game currently. And when it comes to offlaners, that's generally what you want to see. Just a well-rounded hero who can thrive with a moderate amount of farm, and that's Feng Mao to a T.
So that leaves the offlane and carry. I expect to see either a Murdoch or Sparrow pickup, and there's going to be the Sparrow late game with FaZe, with that ultimate. She's going to be an absolute monster. So that's why I expect that. And so, I mean, this could be jungler. This could be offlane. I'm expecting probably a Greystone. Sevarog jungle, Greystone offlane. But I could be just blown away, and that's not what we get at all here.
Offlaners right now, I think in the current meta, in this current build, as far as the offlane goes, there's a lot of diversity in that. You also have Sereth as a potential here. I think Sereth actually right now could decently excel. Twin Blast, one of the better carries at dealing with him, dealing with Sereth's late game damage. It is going to be that Sereth. So now not only do you have Sparrow FaZe, you also have Sereth FaZe. That's a lot of DPS potential. Of course, the early game, it depends on how the Sereth builds. But that's a lot of late game damage DPS coming out from Transcend, especially when paired up with FaZe.
There's no stuns. If I don't see a Gideon pick come out of Finesse right now, I'm going to be so sad. The only stun is Bellica.
Yeah. That it is on the table. Of course, a lot of teams, even with that being the case.
Whoa!
There it is. You called it. That's one of the big things a lot of people have said for a long time. The way you exploit FaZe's biggest weakness is she has no hard CC. And this is the best way to do it, is by picking up heroes who abuse that. And that's Gideon right there. So you called it, Notch. And I really, really like this Gideon pickup. The Sparrow is going to have such a hard time with how much engage they have between the Gideon and the Feng Miao, not including the Grux as well. If the Sparrow doesn't get a blink pretty early, I feel like Finesse's draft will be able to exploit her lack of mobility and just really diminish her farm and try to make her a big target. We'll have to see how it goes, though, because like I said, their DPS potential in the late game is quite impressive between the Seraph and the Sparrow paired up with the Phase.
Transcend's damage output as we transition to the late game, like you said, is going to be nasty. They have solid engage with Sevarog. They have good control with Bellica. It's a good draft for both teams here. We have a more experienced competitive team in Finesse, but we've got a good looking lineup over on Transcend as well. So I'm excited to get into this match. I know I'm up and ready to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second weekend here for the qualifiers of the North American Exhibition. A $15,000 prize pool is what these teams have in mind. The $2,500 one, that's pretty good too, but you got to believe that the biggest priority here for these teams is trying to book themselves a ticket over to Epic headquarters and try to contend for what's going to be the first big LAN for Paragon, and very excited to see how that goes down. Transcend, an unknown team, but judging by their draft, I think they have a pretty solid draft here. They drafted pretty well. Now it's going to come down to how they play this and if they're able to make up for their inherent weaknesses of their draft. And I think that's just a lack of CC. You call it really only Bellica with the seismic assault, and that's not really a reliable way to get Gideon out. So I think a lot is riding on proficiency. See what he's able to get out of this Gideon. If he doesn't have a very good game, I wouldn't be surprised if Transcend is able to push through their lack of early game presence and get a good foothold around that 15 to 20 minute mark.
So let's go ahead and introduce these teams. Over on the side of Finesse, we've got Chill Phil in the jungle on Grux. Proficiency is going to be in the mid lane on Gideon. Louis playing Decker. Strafe is going to be playing Twin Blast, and Suki is playing Feng Mao. Shane, who do we have over on Transcend?
Be more execution on Sparrow, move forward on Phase, Scruffy on the Lieutenant Bellica, Lakota Dash on Seraph, and Rogue Raspberry, not Raz, but Raspberry on the Sevarog there. So it is going to be a jungle Sevarog as we expected. It's very indicative of the early game is looking at the junglers' rotations. Do they go for the 3 white camps then back? Do they go for an early green? And right now, both junglers on both sides of the field are electing to go for the very early green buff there. So that may be some early game roaming around, maybe around the mid lane. We'll have to keep an eye on them.
So most of the junglers' rotations that I've seen is hit level 3 at the start. So what you'll see them do is pick up a white camp, pick up the green, rotate over, pick up the other white camps. At 2 minutes and 20 seconds, you have that secondary spawn of minions. And if they make that full circle at 3 minutes, when the river buff spawns, they have level 3. They pick up the river buff and have that potential to really gank with all of their abilities online. And it puts your mid laner and or off laners in danger. Coda, there was a lot of aggression out of Louis and Strafe there, Shane, at the beginning of the match. Coda has already had to back up and reset because they punished him early. He didn't get killed, thank God, but he was very low. So I expect this out of Louis and Strafe, just to be hyper aggressive. They're on the prime side of the map, so you want to see them push this tower quickly so they can rotate off and set themselves up for a 10-minute Raptor.
And with that being the normal breakdown, I'm assuming we're going to see a Seraph versus Feng Mao 1v1 once that does happen. And when it comes to that matchup, up until Seraph really gets lifesteal or crit, assuming that's the build that they're going with, a more late-game crit build, Feng Mao has a pretty big advantage in that matchup specifically. You see Suki starting to get rotated on here. The subject is going to land. Already used the conversion shield, but 1 or 2 more auto attacks will more than likely be first blood, and that's the case. So Transcend picks up the first blood by a pretty straightforward rotation out of Rogue Raspberry. They Finesse tried to do the same thing in mid to try to trade, but weren't able to do it, and they came up a little bit short. So Transcend already making a statement here against the veteran team of Finesse.
Yeah, there was a engagement. Oh, Scruffy. Chillfill is going to get caught out here by Scruffy. He's going to land the double smash and grab. He's going to charge away. He's going to be safe here, but Proficiency also needs to be careful. That mid lane fight, Shane, Proficiency left that battle at 23 health. He was able to get away and survive, and then that re-engage in the middle. Scruffy landing that seismic assault almost set up another kill. I like the aggression in the mid lane here. We've got 3 here. I like the aggression because they're going to deal damage to this tower, but at the same time, you're also hurting yourself because experience is being split. So So instead of getting that single person experience to hit your level 5s faster, you've now split that between multiple people. And it puts you into situations where your support could be behind Louis and Strafe. Again, 4 minutes, 20 seconds. Pick up that tower very quickly, and we'll see them rotate. They're either going to rotate off or they're going to continue the aggression and go for this tier 2, making that jungler lose a lot of farm and have to focus on trying to help Coda not lose this tower.
I like what Lucer and Strafe are doing here, picking up the offlaner, full 5-stack camp. Coda just going to have to watch that fall away, and meanwhile Rogue Raspberry is farming the other side inside of the jungle there. Green buffs are about to spawn for both teams. Chill Phil already on it, and Coda actually taken out right there in the tier 3 tower. And whenever you see this sort of aggressive pushing right here, I think Raspberry just wasn't in position to rotate. He's that good old Severog, the conflicted Severog. Do you stack or do you fight? And right there, Raspberry was just wasn't low, was too low from fighting minions to ever to rotate, and so that opened up the possibility of a 5-minute kill onto the Seraph underneath her own tier 2 tower. If I'm Raspberry, I'm making sure that I'm keeping myself decently topped off so I can respond to those situations accordingly and make sure that those greedy pushes like that get punished.
Yeah, they're going to just deal a little bit of damage to this tier 2 tower and back off here. Strafe 35 last hits. He's already starting to gain the lead over B-More, plus that kill. Again, with Raptors being as strong of as ejected as they are, I do expect them to rotate over to that lane, which is a little bit better for Coda. Allow him to safe farm underneath his tier 2, which it does look like he's hard pushing here. Don't know if I would recommend being behind as he is. Aggressive play coming out of Finesse, taking this green. They won it. This is my green. We know it's
Phil,
up.
He's in trouble. He gets rooted. That last tick from the Energy Lance from FaZe is going to be able to proc that root and punish Chill Phil. This is what we expect to see out of Finesse. They love those timings, aggressive invasions into their enemy jungle, but they got punished pretty easily there. And that's normally not. Normally they're able to either get away with that or pick up kills. So I got to say, Transcend, even though they're unknown names and otherwise an unknown team, they've been doing a really good job thus far of taking a draft that I think has a significantly weaker early game and actually getting a lead in it. So if they continue this momentum, they have put themselves in a great position. I think the biggest lane that they've lost thus far is definitely Coda in that off lane. I think a little bit more support for Coda will go a really long way for them.
Yeah, and just the thing with Seraph is Seraph comes online that late game. So you losing your tier 1 tower early is not a big deal as long as they don't continue to apply the pressure they're applying here. Like, Transcend has to answer this. They can't just allow Louis and Strafe to push the way they are.
Yeah.
They have to punish these two for being overextended. Yes, they have wards, but you have to punish them. Coda is going to fall again.
Yeah.
And this they can't allow that to happen if they want to let Coda come online and be a presence in the mid to late game.
Seraph is definitely one of those heroes you don't want to get too far behind on, else he just becomes a really big liability. The silver lining, of course, is that Sparrow has been farming decently. We actually see Suki on Feng Miao 1v1ing down Sparrow right now, and that's the strength of Feng Miao is 1v1 potential. Proficiency rotated. The rotation wasn't necessary, but just in case Suki was in a little bit of trouble, he at least could have helped out his teammate there. But yeah, you got to respect that 1v1 potential. FaZe gets picked off, and Transcend now looking to siege down the safe lane tower here at the 8-minute mark. I think they should be able to. They don't have a siege minion, so if there is a response coming out from Transcend, they might be able to defend this. But as of right now, they're just simply too occupied on the other side of the map.
Double smash and grab from Chill Phil onto Rogue, and Rogue is going to get away.
Is the bleed going to kill him? Is the bleed going to kill him from Grux? Nope, almost. Almost got him.
That grenade almost got him. Almost got him there, but they've picked up a tier 1 tower, or almost picked up the tier 1 tower. Both Suki and Proficiency are going to take that down. A lot of pressure on this map. This is going to be very difficult for Transcend to come back from with this split push. You've got B-More, who is alone over here. Look at Proficiency and Suki. They're just waiting. Clear this mini wave. Let it push, they say. Come on. Come to us. Come to us. I don't think she knows they're there. She is playing it a little bit safe and not overextending. Good, smart play by the Sparrow, not coming out, not getting caught out and dying, because they would have dealt another, not lost the tower, but at least been able to deal quite a bit of damage to that, to where the split push could be a huge hindrance.
You know what you do when you lose your jump pads, right?
GG, you surrender. Yeah. That's the game's over.
You forget about it. You just go on to the next game.
Yeah, yeah. At that point, there's nothing you can do. Jump pad's too strong, Epic.
Interesting decision as far as putting the phase to help out Coda. And it's sort of this catch-22 situation if you're Transcend, right? Where you need to be able to support your Sparrow, especially in a matchup against Feng Miao, who will win that 1v1 a majority of the game until Sparrow either gets a Blink Charm or just gets a decent amount of farm up, like after her 3rd or 4th damage item. But at the same time, they also have to give Coda a little bit of support as well, because if you take a look at the farm here, we're about to hit that 10-minute mark. The Raptors are about to come online. Coda's only at 10 card levels. That's a 5 to 7 deficit compared to the other side of the field with Suki as the offlaner as well as Strafe. So it's, I mean, B More can definitely be okay in a solo lane situation. He just has to respect the Feng Miao's 1v1 potential. But I agree with the decision to support Coda, because they really need to make sure that he starts getting some semblance of farm, or they can just the Raptors, they won't be able to contest objectives. They're just gonna have to play so defensively because the Seraph is just not going to be a presence whatsoever.
Yeah. So we have the switch here. We haven't talked about this yet, but Move Forward has switched.
You have one of those, don't you?
I do have one of those. It's great. You should get it.
You have the one with the red and the blue?
Yeah. Skyrim's coming out soon for Nintendo Switch. It's only 8 years old. It's totally worth it.
Yeah. I'm so glad a game that's 8 years old is coming out on a brand new console. It makes me so happy, dude.
But they've allowed B More to just farm. She's been farming safely. She hasn't put herself into much danger. Coda taking a lot of damage from these grenades. Triple taps there. She's gonna go back in and get aggressive. One more shot and she's gonna fall. There's the ventilate, and she does fall. Just continue to poke. She's too far behind to do that. What she needs to do is just farm here and just stay safe under this tower. We need to see Rogue Raspberry come behind and Colossal Blow them into the tower. Don't allow that to happen. That's her 3rd death. She's at 12 card power, Shane. She cannot 1v1 a Twin Blast right now, who's sitting at 21 card power.
Yeah, 22. Make it the double deuces.
Almost a 12 card power lead. You can't 1v1 that. Suki's just been split pushing over here. There's going to be a minion wave attacking that tier 2, which means, are they looking for another fight to go for Raptors? What are they doing here? Shane, tell us what they're doing, buddy.
Chill Phil's doing Chill Phil things. He was able to get the smash and grab on a move forward. Suki's going to reaping dash forward and secure the kill. Was almost able to get away. The first containment fence goes down. It's only under the Sevarog, but they've already got a pick off here, and taking down the Sevarog will enable them to make a really big objective push, whether that's a tier 2 tower or the Raptors. Taking out the frontliner of the enemy team, so important. They're able to do it. That's Finesse going in, invading their opponent's jungle, and picking up 2 kills very swiftly. Now Suki looking for more. Coda should be able to get away here using the Ascend. That reaping dash bonus damage, you see it, just one auto attack after that, and all of a sudden, boom, 15-20% of her health gets taken out. So that's the Finesse that we've known for a long time, those patented invasions inside of the jungle. And they got what they were looking for. The first time they did it, they actually came up short. They were able to pick up the green buff, but Chill Phil was punished for it. Immediately rotate to the Raptors, and this is going to continue to build their lead. They're actually not giving it to Strafe. They're saying, Strafe, you're already farmed enough, bro. They're going to give it either up to Chill Phil or Proficiency. So they realize that Strafe is already pretty farmed, and they can probably delegate those resources elsewhere. Getting your Grux or getting that farm on other heroes besides your carry still helps out significantly, especially if it's for an important item like on your jungler, a thermal bond, or maybe a tuned barrier, because we're starting to hit that point. We will be relatively soon here where Chill Phil on the Grux will start to transition into those tanky items. And if you're able to get those tanky items earlier, then you just become a raid boss and almost unkillable. So I like that they just made that decision to give that farm to someone else, mostly because Strafe is he's okay. He's doing well for himself right now.
He's not doing too bad. 90 last hits. He's got 3. He's 3-0-3, 25 card power. He could be doing better, is what I'm saying. So you got
Strafe. Let's step it up, bro. Come on.
So we've got map control completely in favor of Team Finesse. They've got the card experience lead. At this point, if you're Transcend, turtle up. Let these come to your tier 2 tower. Do not hard push. Do not give them the opportunity to catch you out in the jungle. Rogue Raspberry is going to get caught out in the jungle. And that's what they need to avoid. He does get hit here. They're not going to be able to pick up the kill because it is just proficiency. But they need to just farm up, just turtle. Give up a couple Raptors if you need to. Maybe you find a pick in your jungle, but don't get caught out. If you lose another team fight here, or you lose 2 or 3 more people, you're going to lose your tier 2 tower.
Ooh, the dive under the tier 2 tower. Chillphil went in there, and Sparrow got blown up again. FaZe's lack of hard CC. If you're able to catch them out close to each other, you can punish a mobile hero. Proficiency going in with the first black hole of the game in between the tier 2 tower. Beautifully placed. He's not taking any tower damage. The patience paying off right there. Not using it immediately, and that's sort of the patent Gideon you want to see, is not using that black hole as a fight starts out, but rather wait until the fight has already started and there's chaos going on, and then try to go in. Proficiency getting a little bit greedy here. I was going to say Belka's going to pull out that pistol and blow him up for that greedy dive, and they get punished. Still, they're able to pick up 2 kills for it despite that fact. Although meanwhile, Suki on Feng Mao on the other side of the field. I like that they're finally, Coda is now 1v1ing down Feng Mao, Suki's Feng Mao here, but Coda still has to play so very defensive. As I spoke in the top of the game here, that matchup inherently favors Feng Mao for quite some time, even with even farm, and there's quite a discrepancy between their farm right now, but at least they're putting Coda into a matchup where he can farm a little bit more safely and isn't quite as concerned as getting ganked as he has a majority of this game.
Yeah, I got to be completely honest. The Feng Mao thing, I really wish you'd go back to Feng Miao. I'm not gonna lie about it.
What is chat so used to me saying that now they're triggered that I'm not saying it?
I'm triggered. I don't even know how to chat up. I'm just.
You're like, who is this hero?
I don't know who Feng Mao is.
Chillphil has the purple buff. He's Rogue Raspberry, but there is a ward, so they know what's going on there. Chillphil was, even if he did get that, not much support behind him and not much kill potential going on. Finesse just, Finesse. How about we do the best of both worlds and we say Feng Miao? How's that?
No. I don't know if I can take it. I don't know if my mind.
I can't appease you, Notch. What am I supposed to do?
So we're actually starting to see Transcend. They actually rotated to defend. Rogue Raspberry is going to get a colossal blow. Missed the subjugate. I don't know if it's
going in with the black hole. Smash and grab was already used here on top of the containment fence. Used that right after they recognized they were out of position. I don't think they realized that proficiency was right on the other side of that fog wall on the strong side of their jungle and rotates over. Sarah's taken out by Suki elsewhere by Feng Miao. Tier 2 tower under siege, and Finesse continues to just be a dominating performance thus far. Strafe is just, look at Strafe sitting in between the tier 2 tower and the inhibitor, just sitting there as a zoning pincer maneuver, making sure that Transcend has no means of escape, no means of safety. And now with the next wave coming in, especially with that siege minion, all 3 off of the field right now, only FaZe and Rogue Raspberry. This should be another tier 2 falling. Can't see the timer on the Raptors due to some shortcomings of the OBS UI, we'll put it that way. But still, Finesse are performing in the manner that we expected them to. Still, Transcend, you can't put down the fact that they have an extraordinarily strong late game. Gideon certainly falls off after about 25-30 minutes. There's a certain point where one of your carries, I say one because they essentially have 2 on both the Seraph and the Sparrow, could just sit in the black hole and kill your Gideon and not really worry about it. If they're able to turtle up and maybe find a pick-off here and there, and make sure that they're just getting decent farm, not even continued objectives at this point, but I think their main priority is just stabilizing, don't lose inhibitors, and secure farm on their Seraph and their Sparrow. They do have a path. They have a path to getting themselves a little bit stronger of a foothold inside this game, but as of right now, Finesse don't want any of that, and they continue to just have a stranglehold here.
Yeah, I mean, Strafe sitting at 38 card power. You have B-More and Coda. Coda's at 19. B-More's only at 23. The amount of the card lead that Strafe has, they have to do a lot of farming. They can't be picked at all, Shane. And I don't know if they have the power to actually find a pick without putting a lot of resources into it. You're going to have 2 or 3 people. It's not like they're just going to be able to 1v1 at this situation. You're going to have 2 or 3 people who find maybe Chillphil in the jungle or Strafe alone to kill them because of the lead they have. It does look like they
recently picked up a Teleblink as well, which I think is a very important item for Gideon. You think that may be a little bit counterintuitive. Well, Gideon has torn space. He has a lot of mobility, but what that allows him to do for maybe you aspiring Gideon players out there is it allows you to Teleblink black hole, and if you find yourself in a bad situation, you can use torn space to get out. Lucer taking a lot of damage, forced to use the quenching scales and the honor of the pure, saves his life Rogue Raspberry felt there was a false sense of confidence there. But here comes FaZe as well as Sparrow. They got that big damage for Proficiency. Immediately goes in. Sparrow's taking so much damage. Proficiency, this black hole, this Gideon pick has paid off so much for Team Finesse. You called it, Notch. This is how you abuse FaZe. Very well done by them. Chill Phil got taken out, but he did his job. And that is 4 going down. Actually, all 5, I believe, went down there. It may have a bug on my UI or Prime for Team Finesse. And with firm map control, I won't be surprised if they are able to take an inhibitor here. And if they win a fight like that, the next fight could just be the game.
I mean, this could just be the game here. They've got Orb Prime activated. They've got Strafe sitting at 36 used card power. He's going to easily push this tower down. They've got the minion wave here. They could just end this game right now.
You have to be careful, though, because Rogue, I mean, a Subjugate underneath this. Strafe is pretty low and taking quite a bit of damage. Court, 75% HP. Strafe just getting aggressive, going in on it. And I think this is going to be what we could say either a greedy or a botched or both core attempt. Even if they do get wiped here, Finesse still has opened up the map to where I think the best thing that Transcend can get out of this is just a little bit of breathing room for the time being, not having to worry about that. But they need to have that happen another 3 or 4 times if they want to have a path to victory here. And at the same time, their core, even though they weren't able to kill the core, they still got it down to 50%. So Transcend is pretty much treading water at this point, and they're definitely up to their neck currently.
Yeah, I mean, you've got they're trying to make a push. Proficiency has a purple buff. He's in the mid lane. I mean, does he do anything? I don't think he does. The rotation coming from behind Chill Phil and
look at the flank. They're flanking in here, immediately going on to Sparrow. There's nothing. FaZe actually pulls her out. Well done. Quenching skills is there. Black hole has been used, but it's not on the Sparrow. Sparrow's in the back line trying to chew him down with the damage of that inner fire. But it's just simply the economical discrepancy between these two teams. They're just doing too much damage. Sparrow, I mean, it was a good position. Their positioning in that fight was decent. The black hole didn't get as much value as it has gotten the rest of this game, but I think Finesse just has too much of a lead, as well as they still have their prime card activated as well on both Suki and Proficiency. Now they're going down the mid lane with the core at 50%. I won't be surprised if they take this game right here. It's up to Coda and Raspberry to defend this, but not sure what they can do. Finesse looking to put the nail in the coffin here.
Look at the, I mean, I don't know if you saw the damage that Cosmic Rift does. I mean, 25-30% health, just chunking targets there. And they are going to pick up this GG, which means they will have a couple more games to play. So congratulations to Team Finesse winning their first game of the day in dominating fashion. Finesse had a, or not Finesse, I'm sorry, Transcendence had a good team. They just got bullied early is what cost them a lot. If they would have been able to restabilize after that first or second gank, I think they would have been okay. But man, that bully early, Shane, Strafe picked up how many kills within the first 7 minutes of the match? 3 or 4? And you to give Twin Blast that big of a lead that quick is just it's not going to be fun for you as you transition into the mid and late game.
FaZe Sparrow Seraph is so greedy when it comes to early game laning.
Right.
Because the Feng Mao, he's going to be okay. Suki was going to be okay. Whoever was playing, Feng Mao is really good at just, he's a safe pick. He's very hard to kill, and he's going to get farmed. Sure, you might be able to push down his tower. He doesn't have the best wave clear in the game, but he's a safe pick. He's going to deal with that 1v2 situation fairly well and get some semblance of farm. And then you have Seraph in a situation who she's very easy to abuse early on. She has escapes, but as far as being able to defend her tower and being able to consistently get last hitting, she definitely has a struggle with that. So between having, I think, 2 very greedy lanes where you're at a disadvantage early on, I think that was the biggest shortcoming right there outside of just simple mechanics and execution. Maybe putting a Greystone in their off lane, or maybe getting a little bit more aggressive of a support, maybe like a Narbash or something, to get more kill potential for Sparrow. Because outside of FaZe, the kill potential really is reliant on the off laner making a misplay. And as a player like Suki, we don't expect that to happen. So I think that they can maybe draft a little bit less greedy and easy to be exploited in the early stages of the game. And because they were picking up kills in the first 5 to 10 minutes. And they were actually going toe-to-toe with Finesse. I think just after the laning phase broke down is really where they started to struggle. Yeah, so you got to give it up to Team Finesse. They are such a strong